Roland, I've known you building this house. I've seen it when it was just a skeleton, and now I'm seeing the baby finish, which is quite amazing. So I'm happy that you agreed to this interview with me, so I can hear what it's all about. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
How do you pronounce your name, actually? It's Roland, and the last name I never know exactly.
Schaellibaum.
Schaellibaum. Where are you from, Roland?
Switzerland.
You were born in Switzerland?
Born in Switzerland and spent 11 years in Switzerland and spent 18 years in Vancouver, Canada. 1976, I went back to Switzerland and I was there till 2015, and the last 5 years I spent here in LA.
So you really are, I mean, I see you as an entrepreneur, but I mean, you are the architect, you are the builder. Explain to me, where did you learn and where did you study and where did this inspiration come from?
I like to call myself a visionary. I've spent over 35 years in the real estate business in Switzerland, and also in 1985 I created my own architecture company.
So you mean you were a real estate agent before you were a real, okay? And how did you study to become, was it an inspiration from when you were a child, or how did this come up?
Well, it kind of brought me to the point of becoming an architect or being a visionary by dealing with people on a daily basis. And I always started to realize that a lot of projects which were on the market actually did not fulfill the individual's demands. And I realized that basically I wanted to start building objects and projects for clients which actually fulfilled their needs. So this was actually created in 1988. We created Horizon Architecture and Building Company in Switzerland, and we started off with 2 architects plus myself. And in the meantime, the operation is still going on, and we have approximately 7 architects at this time where we actually design and build high-end condominiums.
Were they always residential or was it also commercial?
No, we basically stayed in residential. We did a few homes, but in essence in Switzerland, homes are not in demand. What is in demand are high-end condominiums, which basically range anywhere from 2,000 up to 5,000 square feet per unit.
Per unit.
Right, and we always more or less sold, even before breaking ground, we had our units sold. This is one of the reasons why I decided to come over here in 2015 to fulfill my bucket list, where I complete the home from the outside as well as from the inside, due to the fact that I was never able to do that in Switzerland.
Explain to me why it was impossible to do this in Switzerland, because that was my question. Why did you come in America, and why America versus somewhere else in Europe or in Asia?
Right. I mean, due to the fact that you're actually selling right off before breaking ground, at that stage you already have the owner of the unit. So at that stage, the owner of the unit basically had his own taste, and he also had his own vision of how he would like to see his apartment completed. In many cases, regrettably, the architecture which we produced as a building, which we were in charge of, did not reflect at the end of the day the inside design. So for me, architecture is a flow from the outside to the inside, and at the same time a flow from the inside to the outside.
Makes sense. Is this your first home in America, meaning this blooming way?
No, this is actually my second home. My first home I built in Outpost Estate, where we also got an award for it. But there I used American materials, and the first half year I was only here every 2-3 months, so I basically had the person actually in charge of building the project. Prior to being completed, 12 months before it being completed, I realized I had to be here on a daily basis, otherwise it would not have worked. And when I completed the project, in a certain sense, I was happy, but on the other hand, I realized that doing it the American way with wood framing was not to the precision which I enjoyed. So it was not precise enough.
What was the scale of that house?
The house had approximately 6,000 square feet as well. Yeah.
And you told me, yeah, you wanted to do something that was a reflection of the quality that you bring.
Yes, I wanted to basically, I realized after building my first home, I wanted to do another building, but done the Swiss way. In other words, completely with materials and with the high-end materials that we use in Switzerland, such as steel framing, such as Swiss windows, kitchen from Germany. I just wanted everything to come from Europe because I was familiar with that, and I also had the trust in the products.
So tell us about this house, because most people who are going to watch this interview will have seen the video of the house, who is really state of the art. I mean, I've never seen anything built that way, that precisely, and with such a high quality. Give us a little bit an overview of this house. I'll set it up by saying that all the material, pretty much construction material, comes from Europe. That the furniture which you didn't design, well, some of them you designed,
yes,
actually, also comes with the house. I mean, this house basically you can buy it in the morning and you can have a party that night, because there is even Hermes silverware. Am I correct?
Correct.
So tell us an overflow about the house. What is really special about this house? What is there that other people don't do?
I think it starts, I mean, the reason why I said I'm a visionary is when I want to build, even in Switzerland, I always look at my surroundings. Number one, I do look at the lots or the plot that is available, and then I take a look at the surroundings, and at the same time, my brain starts to function where I realize or I can see the type of building I'd like to place in it. For me, the sun, the views, the privacy are all an important factor in actually developing or in creating a project. So for me, this was also the case where the plot in itself had a certain circumference, it had a certain position, so it was important for me to be able to put a house on here which in essence at the end of the day complements the property that you're building on. And this has been considered, and you will see throughout looking at the house, every angle has been considered, being privacy, being the sun, being
energy efficient.
And of course, also the important thing is energy efficiency, definitely.
Because I have to mention, you have central air, 9 different units, independent, which means every room can be controlled. You have radiant heat, which you explained to me. Explain that again. Well,
yeah.
What is the difference, and why did you put both?
I don't have central air. This house does not have central air. This house actually has 9 AC units, which, including the wine cellar, which in essence every room dictates itself or can be programmed by itself. This house also has radiant heating, upstairs as well as downstairs. We get the warmth for the radiant heating through solar panels as well as gas. But we do not, through the ducts that we have for the air, we do not use that for heating at all.
And why?
Because if you use hot air or you use heat as well as coolness in the summer, what you're actually doing, you're creating germs in your systems by, in the winter, using it as hot air to heat up your, and at the same time, your air, actually your hot air stays at the top and not at the bottom. And the most important factor in trying to give you that comfortable feeling is basically always having heat on your feet, where your feet feel warm. At that stage, you feel warm. Right. But just to blow in hot air, which reaches your head, at the same time generates germs, is not the solution.
That makes a lot of sense. Nobody really thinks of this. I mean, in America, we never talk about this. And as a matter of fact, radiant heat is more in the east. You see it more in the east than you see it in the west.
Yes. And again, it's health-wise, it's a far better system.
Of course. The other thing you also have on the top of this, you do have a solar panel. Now, those solar panels are regenerating heat for what?
Well, there's two things that we have. Number one, we have two green roofs. Again, the green roofs actually help insulation, whether it be cold or whether it be warm. And then we also have solar panels at one of the roofs. That's purely for the radiant heating as well as the pool.
Okay. I'm also very fascinated by the outside of the house. Those panels, I mean, they're very sleek. We usually see them more for commercial use. You've used them for residential.
Yes. They're so-called, they're Swiss Pearl, which is a product again from Switzerland. They're actually fiber cement panels. They're actually very heavy panels, and these panels had to be cut exactly for this house. So actually plans have to be made for every column, for every window where the panels are going to be in. So at the end of the day, the panels make sense. They have a weight of approximately 36,000 pounds. No, for the entire building. But at the same time, number one, you do not have any upkeep over the next 50, 60 years with them. And the other important thing is it does insulate against heat, and it does insulate against warmth.
So talking about insulation, same thing. The windows, explain first of all, the brand is Airlock. These windows.
It's Airlocks by a company in St. Gallen, Switzerland, by the name of Kropf. They have patents their own windows over a number of years, which is called Airlocks. It's probably the most efficient, highest made window that's actually available at this time in the world.
You told me in America we cannot find windows that big in one piece, and also we haven't mentioned yet, but they're triple pane.
They're triple pane, which again is for efficiency, to keep your temperatures at a constant level. Due to the fact that in the summer that you have triple pane, it also saves you energy by not having to use your AC units, because it does reflect the heat, so your rooms do not get actually hot.
But they're tinted on the outside as well.
They're tinted on the outside, but that has very little bearing as far as energy is concerned. The reason for tinting the windows is basically to give the owner of this house at all times privacy, because there is a lot of glass in this building, and I didn't want to create the situation where an owner becomes a fish in an aquarium. So we purposely tinted the windows so he would at all times have privacy within his home. He can see out, but you cannot see in.
That's the amazing thing, because I was sitting in the patio, and actually, no matter where you sit, that it is facing the house or facing the view, you have the same view, because these windows are reflecting the view. So it's very clever, very, very clever. What else can you tell us of very technical or something that we would not think of or see, but it's there?
The other important thing with the windows, this house is hermetically sealed.
Oh, that's right, because when you close the window, first of all, the big windows is all electric. You just push these two buttons, they open on their own, and then there is a little latch who comes a flap to cover the gap. Because the windows, if you've seen the video, they go very deep inside down and very deep inside up.
Correct. Though the windows also have a tube around them, so when you do close them, you always have to engage it with a button, and the windows at all times are actually under power. So the power actually bolts the windows, and at the same time, when you close the windows, there's a tube around them, and the tube gets filled with air. So it's actually hermetically sealed.
Right.
This prevents any dust or any air flow between outside and inside. And in certain occasions, it's absolutely important that you do have the situation where you do not let cold air go out. And in the wintertime, you don't want the hot air to go out either.
Right. How long did it take you to build this house?
2.5 years.
Including permit?
No, it took a year for permit. So
and
it's 3.5 years.
3.5 years. How did you find your crew? Because you're so specific about what you do. I heard that you bought a steel company to build this house. I also heard you had to create a crane in order to install the windows. Am I correct?
Yes, due to the fact that I built the first house, I had already dealings with one or two subcontractors, and one in particular that was involved with my first house, which was in the steel division. He is very efficient and very good at his work. And I asked him then when I started building this house if he'd be willing to create a new company, where he'd be part of my new company, which is the steel and iron company. So he said yes. So I created actually my own steel and ironworks company, and right now we have 10 people working here. Not at this house anymore. We're doing other projects for other customers. And I also have a plumbing and radiant heating company, because radiant heating, I think, is also very important, and this is something new in this part of the United States, where I'm trying to high-end homes should become more efficient by using radiant, and at the same time you do need qualified people to be able to install and actually plan a radiant heating system.
So all I can say now, what is your next project? What is your next fantasy? Your next goal? Is it here in America, by the way?
At this moment, I can't tell. I think the first step is once the property does get sold, I do want to take a bit of time off for myself again. I am getting older, and I want to decide what is my next adventure. It could definitely be something here again in conjunction with another partner. It could just as well be in Switzerland again. I don't know at this time, but I don't have to think about this at this moment.
Well, Roland, I thank you for this interview, and I have to say this house is amazing.
Thank you.
And whoever has the opportunity to see this house, it definitely is a must. It's 2341 Gloaming Way in Beverly Hills, and it's an amazing property.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roland.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. My pleasure.